Every day, I got another anonymous package. And every time, it was something different. But that day, what was inside made my stomach twist. And that was when he knocked on the door. My name is Leah. I'm 44 years old, and I've lived my whole life in a quiet, wind-bitten neighborhood just outside of Portland. The kind of place where people still wave when they back out of their driveways, where the sidewalks crack with weeds, and where your business isn't really your own. From the outside, my life looks ordinary, maybe even ideal. I've been married to Mark for nearly 20 years. We have one son, Aaron. 16, quiet, brilliant, the kind of kid teachers email you about just to say thank you. Our house is modest but clean. Our yard trimmed. We pay our taxes. We attend the same small church I grew up in. There's nothing scandalous about us. But lately, that stability had started to rot. It started slow, the way mold creeps behind drywall. Mark lost his job in February. It wasn't his fault, not really. They said it was downsizing, but I think the truth hurt more than that. He stopped looking people in the eye. He stopped laughing. A month later, he took a job as a custodian at the local middle school. He leaves at 5 a.m. and comes back smelling like bleach and wet concrete. We don't talk about it. Our dinners are quiet. Aaron sits between us, always polite, always asking to be excused when he's finished. I watch Mark stare at his plate. I wonder how long a man can go without pride before something inside him collapses. It was around that time the packages started arriving. The first one came on a Tuesday morning. I remember because I was still in my robe when I opened the door. No return address. Just my name, handwritten in small, looping cursive. Inside, a book. Not new, not old. Just worn. The pages smelled like the past. No note. Just underlined passages. A line that read, "Some people are alive only because it's illegal to kill them." I didn't know what to make of it. I laughed nervously, set it on the kitchen counter, and forgot about it. Until the second package came. That one had a candle. A strange, dark purple color with a scent I couldn't name. Musky. Like soil and secrets. And again, no note. Then came a packet of matches. A silk scarf. A single earring. Always addressed to me. Always anonymous. I stopped telling Mark. He didn't notice anyway. But I started keeping the packages, lining them up in a box in the hall closet, like pieces of a puzzle I didn't know how to solve. And then came the Friday Aaron asked if his friend could stay the weekend. Sure, I said, without thinking. What's his name again? Zane, Aaron said, already halfway up the stairs. You'll like him. Zane. I didn't know it then, but that name would come to haunt every quiet moment that followed. He arrived with a small backpack and a polite smile. Tall, older looking than 16, with an ease that made me uncomfortable. He thanked me for dinner. Said he liked the chicken. Called me ma'am. That night, I heard them laughing from Aaron's room. The kind of deep, real laughter I hadn't heard in our house for months. Maybe longer. Saturday, more packages. This time, a photograph. Of me. It was recent. Taken from outside the kitchen window. I was washing a dish, hair up, back turned. The light caught the curve of my neck. I dropped the envelope. I didn't tell anyone. Sunday morning, I found a pressed flower between the pages of our family Bible. And on the flower, in black ink, he watches. I started checking the locks twice. Sometimes 3 times. I stopped drawing the curtains back. That afternoon, I found Zane in the backyard. Alone. Looking at the trees like they were whispering. You okay? I asked. He turned slowly. This neighborhood's quiet. Too quiet. Like it's waiting for something. I didn't know what to say. That night, after they went to bed, I stayed up staring at the latest box. Inside was a small figurine, a porcelain woman, broken at the legs. And a note this time, just 3 words. You feel it. I did. I felt watched, followed, known. And then Monday came, the day the final package arrived. I knew before I opened it that something was different. My hands were shaking. The box was heavier, sealed tighter. The return name read simply, him. Inside was something wrapped in cloth. I unrolled it slowly, my breath catching in my throat. It was a necklace. Mine. The one I lost 10 years ago on a trip Mark and I took to the coast. I had cried over it. It was a gift from my mother. It had never turned up. And yet, here it was. Wrapped inside the cloth was also a note. This time, the handwriting was different. Sharper. He lies. You live in a house of silence. But silence echoes. I see you. My stomach twisted. And then came the knock. Not urgent. Not soft. Just steady. 3 times. I turned slowly, walked to the door, and through the window, I saw him. Zane. Alone. Looking straight at me. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. I opened the door halfway. The wind pushed between us. I need to talk to you, he said. And that's where everything shifted. The air in our bedroom was colder that morning. Or maybe it was just me. There was a kind of emptiness that didn't have a shape, only weight. Like walking into a room after someone's left it forever. I stood in the middle of our hallway, looking at the sunlight cutting across the floor like it was trying to tell me something. But I didn't know what. Mark had already left by the time I came downstairs. He didn't say goodbye anymore. Just a grunt near the door, the sound of his keys, and then the engine. I heard the car fade down the block as I stood in the kitchen, barefoot, the tile too cold. There was a package on the table. Another one. I didn't remember seeing it the night before. I didn't touch it. Not yet. I poured myself coffee, sat down, stared at the box like it might speak. Like it might tell me something I wasn't ready to hear. My phone buzzed once. A reminder from the calendar. Aaron's school project was due next week. I stared at it until the screen dimmed. Then I reached for the box. But before I could open it, there was a knock at the door. 3 knocks. Even. Steady. Not impatient. I froze. Something in me already knew. I opened the door. It was Zane. He stood there like he belonged. Not arrogant. Not smug. Just calm. His presence didn't ask permission, it assumed. In his hands was another box, wrapped in brown paper. Smaller than the others. More carefully sealed. Can I come in? He asked, voice quiet. I hesitated for a breath that lasted far too long. And then I stepped aside. He walked into our home like he'd been here many times before, and in a way, he had. But never like this. He placed the box on the kitchen table, but his eyes stayed on me. I suppose you're wondering, he said, his voice low and without a trace of apology. You sent them, I said. It wasn't a question. Just a sentence. He nodded. All of them. Yes. Why? He looked at the floor for a moment, then back at me. Because I saw you, he said. I felt something stir in my chest. Not surprise. Not anger. Just a slow, rising awareness. I saw you before anyone else did. Before you saw yourself. You were fading. My lips parted, but no sound came. I became friends with Aaron because it gave me a reason to be near you. I listened to him talk about you like you were just his mom. But I saw something else. Someone else. I swallowed hard. My hands trembled slightly as I gripped the back of a chair. You don't know me, I said, but it sounded like a question. He stepped forward, not too close, but just enough. I know the way you laugh when you're nervous. I know you keep lists in the back of cookbooks. I know your husband doesn't ask you about your day anymore. I know you reheat your coffee 3 times before drinking it. Every sentence unraveled me a little more. He wasn't guessing. He had watched. That evening unfolded slowly, like a film strip catching on the reel, flickering before it burns. The world outside our walls seemed to vanish. The hum of the refrigerator, the tick of the wall clock, everything dulled under the weight of what was happening. I didn't expect it. I didn't plan it. But somehow it had already begun. It wasn't about passion. It wasn't about rebellion. It was about being seen. The space between us bent like heat on pavement. He reached out not to touch, but to let his presence land near me. I didn't step back. I didn't speak. The silence between us was fuller than anything I'd heard in years. There were no grand movements, no declarations, just a quiet surrender. His breath near mine, my hands forgetting guilt, the way his eyes held me not with desire, but with recognition. And when the moment came, the moment everything shifted, it didn't feel like falling. It felt like stepping through a door I didn't remember building. After, the house felt still. Not guilty, not even different. Just still. He left just before midnight. He didn't say goodbye. I didn't ask him to stay. I stood alone in the kitchen, staring at the box he brought in. I didn't open it. I just stood there. The next morning, Aaron came downstairs holding his phone. He didn't say anything at first. Just walked to the table, set it down in front of me, and pressed play. The screen lit up. Our living room. Grainy footage. Black and white. From the corner above the bookshelf. Me. Zane. The evening. I covered my mouth. Aaron's voice was quiet. I set it up last year, after someone tried to break into Sarah's house. I forgot it was even there. My breath caught. I didn't mean to see it, he said. But last night I was bored. I opened the app. I saw everything. I looked at my son. 16. Too young for this kind of pain. Too young to carry this. I'm sorry, I whispered. He didn't answer. He walked away. I sat frozen. Minutes passed. Maybe hours. Then my phone lit up. A message from Mark. Just one line. Don't bother calling. I saw it too. I don't remember much after that. 3 days later, a moving truck pulled into the driveway. Mark didn't come inside. I watched from the window as he loaded 2 suitcases, a guitar case, and a small box labeled office. He didn't look back. Aaron didn't say goodbye either. Not in words. But the way he avoided my eyes, that said everything. Zane didn't come back. I still don't know if it was obsession or fate or something darker. I don't know if he loved me or if he just needed to break something beautiful. But I do know this. It didn't start with a kiss. It started with being noticed. And it ended the moment I realized someone else was watching too. He left the house. I stayed in it, but only one of us really lived there.